I'm happy to do it. And what's this fascination with soccer anyway? Are these overprotective parents afraid to let their precious little cutest child in the entire world play a game where they might get hit or where someone might throw something at them? Not to mention the men who are afraid to venture out of their homes for fear that they might actually come face to face, oh my goodness, with one of them homosexuals out on the street. I mean, come on. And I'm just getting warmed up. In the pages that follow, you will encounter welfare artists, screaming car commercials, parents who allow their child to trick-or-treat for UNICEF, people who have dealer tags on the trunks of their cars, abortocentrist, you figure that one out, the I'm not interested in politics sheeple, people who don't know what they don't know, and that's a particularly vexing species, and people who have no business waving an American flag on the 4th of July. And that just scratches the surface. The life of a no-holds-barred talk show host is richly rewarding thanks to the listeners, the callers, columnists, editorialists, and just ordinary red-blooded Americans who make it so. While writing this book, it occurred to me that I may have been blessed to grow up and to spend most of my life during the best of America's years. As much as I love this country, it is certainly hard to be optimistic about our future. We've become a nation of people who care little for their freedom, but who've grown completely dependent on their government. We stand ready to trade away almost all of our precious liberties in exchange for a slender slice of security, courtesy of the federal government. I've been around long enough that I'll probably weather any foreseeable disaster our power-hungry political class and our complacent, dependent voters might visit upon us. The generations that follow me won't be quite so fortunate. I mean, just look around you. Open a newspaper for once. They don't hurt, you know. Try reading something other than People or Sports Illustrated or Cosmo. Flip the channel to something besides Extra or Entertainment Tonight. Things aren't going all that well, folks, and if we don't wake up and smell the tyranny, our children and grandchildren will grow up robbed of their individual identity, marching in lockstep with their fellow poorly educated, complacent, government-dependent friends toward that great socialist Valhalla dreamed of by the great thinkers of the political left. The hardest thing about writing this book was deciding when to stop. Since I finished the main text, and I wrote this introduction last, now here's a list, seen a government school have a 12-year-old special education student arrested and charged with disorderly conduct for wetting her pants. Learned that the Mexican government is providing GPS devices to Mexican citizens to help them avoid American law enforcement as they illegally cross our border to become part of the Mexican invasion force. We found out that George W. Bush wants broad new powers to open our mail just to see what we're sending to each other. We've discovered that police in Paris, France, have determined that preparing soup with pork for feeding to the homeless is a racist act because a homeless person who might want to eat some of that soup just might be a Muslim. We've watched Barack Obama mania sweep the country, focused on a man with no compelling political experience and no real agenda to speak of. We've learned that the Bush administration has negotiated an agreement with Mexico that would allow illegal aliens to collect Social Security benefits in this country without working and paying Social Security taxes nearly as long as any American citizen would have to. And we've discussed whether or not Keith Ellison, the first Muslim to serve in Congress, will emulate his peers by trying to bring the pork back to his home district. And that's just 2 days' worth of news. Now, I began my career in talk radio in September of 1969. You see, there was this suddenly dead talk show host, but we'll get to that later. I was a quintessential grade school wimp and high school dork who defied the odds and turned a completely unpromising and lackluster childhood, coupled with a less than impressive effort at education, into a career as one of the nation's longest-running talk show hosts. And how did I pull that off? Simple. By getting on the radio day after day after day and saying the things that most people are afraid to say out of fear of losing their jobs or becoming social lepers. The modern era of political correctness has clamped the tongues of many, but the emergence of talk